Bulking, the act of eating in a surplus to gain muscle and strength, or an excuse to overeat and get fat. Bulking has been villainized recently in social media, and the question is, why? And I honestly think it's due to the fact that many social media influencers in the fitness industry are very lean, and being lean is quite trendy in most of the fitness age. Being lean allows you to look more aesthetic and vascular and muscular, despite you actually being smaller if you had more fat on you.
You'll most likely look your smallest and most depleted for the other 23 hours of the day.
We mindless gym rats presume that they built this physique, staying at probably sub 10% body fat. However, my children, I'm going to expose this fitness fairy tale and tell you what it is really about. The only way these fitness influencers got for this physique is through multiple bulking and cutting cycles, or the occasional trenbolone sandwiches. We all know that they are very delicious.
Bulking, now this is less of a problem area just because like it's less common. Basically, people, as I said at the start, people spend less of their time bulking because people are scared of getting fat. There's like a negative stigma attached to bulking when actually in essence it's very, very effective and it's basically essential to make progress.
Influencers like Matt Does Fitness or Big Joey D Delaney have done many videos about bulking and cutting because it shows that it is a necessary process to build muscle, but also then cut down on body fat to show that muscle.
And you have to get used to the idea that your peak physique is something that you will experience temporarily and not something that you can maintain. But your actual best shape is something that you might just have to enjoy very briefly once a year.
Some may see bulking and cutting as yo-yo dieting, meaning that you're going to gain weight and then you're going to lose it, and when you lose the weight you're going to gain the weight back, etc. But that's not the case, because if you can do very well planned out bulking and cutting cycles, you're not going to do that. Again, a bulk will take you around probably 6 months to even a year if you do it lean, slow and steady.
You can end your bulk sooner, especially if you're satisfied with your muscle growth. Some even use strength goals to determine a good time for them to change course.
And that's the same for cut, but you can do it at a shorter period of time, being a bit more aggressive, being 3 to 6 months.
So by committing to your cutting phase all the way through until you get down to a good 12% body fat or so.
Bulking is necessary because to look good lean, you need to have muscle. If you are lean with little muscle mass, you mainly just look skinny fat. And that's what we mostly look like when we start our gym career.
So even if you are lean, you might not be able to see your abs because you simply have not built that amount of muscle that is necessary for them to show through underneath your skin.
We actually have low body fat percentage, but because we have such little muscle mass, we don't look that good. Bulking will allow you to optimize muscle growth, also strength gain, allowing your future self to look good whilst being lean. Another benefit of having more muscle is that you don't need to get that lean to still look good, because the more muscle you have, the more that the fat will shape around that muscle, accentuating the frame. There are many athletes out there that are probably 15% body fat but look probably 12% because they have a lot of muscle mass showing through the fat, overall adding to your frame instead of subtracting from it.
So as your body fat gradually increases, your actual strength level is going to increase simply because your body just functions a lot better on slightly higher body fat percentages. So like at 15% body fat, chances are you're going to be a lot stronger than you were at 8, 9, 10% body fat. There's so many reasons behind it.
Now I'm going to do an analogy here. Imagine your body is a house and a builder. House is quite bare and vulnerable, only having its base foundations, and that's us when we start the gym. So what do we want to do? We want to add to our foundation, build our house to make it look nice and just be ever present. Weight training can be described as a passing storm. This storm will then damage the house's foundation. The builder is to repair the foundation and then preferably grow upon it to make it withstand the passing storm better. To repair and strengthen the house, the builder needs materials. We give the builder materials through eating. Imagine you train consistently and eat in a maintenance. This means you're only giving the builder enough material to repair, but not grow. When you eat in a surplus, however, you're giving the builder more materials than it needs to repair, but also build upon the house foundation, making the house stronger and less vulnerable to the passing storm, which is training. Fortunately, your builder won't be able to use all of the materials given. It will use enough to repair and just enough it needs to build upon the foundation, storing the excess material in a local shed, being your fat stores. Bulking in this analogy is giving your body enough materials to repair and also grow. But your body will not use all this material you're giving it, being food, storing it as fat. It will take a long time for the house to be built. Therefore, you do not want to give the builder too much material at one time to then be stored in the shed, because you don't want the shed to be really full, because then you're going to need to use all the supplies in that said shed to build. There's only so much the builder can do in one time. This just shows that muscle does take a very long time to grow in comparison to losing or gaining fat.
You have to go through a serious process where you're just building the foundation, you're just building the structure, and you're just building something to build off of before you can actually start going, oh man, now I can actually be not necessarily proud, but I can just see progress and I can see evolution. And I just don't see people talking about that at all.
Now, from this analogy, hopefully we can understand that eating and maintenance isn't the best for muscle growth. If you're only giving your body just what it needs, it's not going to have enough to build upon to make even more muscle. Muscle is metabolically active, meaning it needs energy to survive. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible to build muscle in a maintenance. It definitely is, and that is shown in many body recompositions. I personally did it myself, but again, it's about optimizing muscle growth. From there, you can decide whether you need to lose fat or gain weight. Giving your body more materials to build, unfortunately, your body's not going to use all of it for muscle growth. It's going to store the ones that it doesn't use into fat, and that scares a lot of people. Many think that you're going to become morbidly obese in 1 month and not be able to walk down a flight of stairs. Oh, what happened? Well, that's not the case. Well, it can be if you do 1 month of an extreme dirty bulk. Dirty bulking compared to lean bulking is you eating a larger calorie surplus, usually between 500 and 1000 calories, mainly comprised of junk foods compared to the more nutritious foods found in lean bulking. Lean bulking involves you having a smaller surplus of 200 to 300 calories. It could even go up to 500 if you're new and very skinny, being seen as the hard gainer. You should mainly be eating whole foods because whole foods will give your body the nutrients it needs to perform very well. Whilst if you give it many processed foods, it's going to basically process it in the same way that it's made. It's going to be quick compared to having something that's nourishing and long lasting. Lean bulking is ideal because it will allow you to have steady weight gain, making you not gain too much fat, but also allowing you to gain as much muscle as you can in the rough space of time.
Skinny bitch.
People like Greg Doucette advocate for main gaining at a body fat you find preferable.
Main gain. And by main gain, I mean maintain your body fat at the same level while building muscle.
But again, if someone feels alright at 10% body fat and they try to main gain from there, they're not going to build as much muscle as they could be doing whilst bulking. Eating in a surplus will provide you more energy, allowing you to create a greater stimulus whilst training, allowing you to build more muscle. Recovery will be faster, energy output will be better, and your mood will just feel better because again, at lower levels of body fat, your hormones are going to crash, and I know not many people are going to get to that low body fat percentage.
What happens is it just crushes your hormones. So my test was so low, it was so low, I lost interest in girls. I wasn't interested.
But many young teens out there that are already skinny, they're gonna need to eat more to gain weight, because if they just try and build muscle from a very skinny state, they're probably gonna feel even worse. They're doing more and their body cannot adapt to it because they don't have enough resources to adapt. Bulking is a very natural thing that all naturals will need to do to gain the physique that they want. It may take 10 years, but through well-planned bulking cutting cycles, you will gain the physique you want. You may not look like Ronnie Coleman, but you're still going to look the best you can be. Many who advocate for, again, maintaining are probably on some sort of performance-enhancing drugs for when they actually can main gain, stay lean, and build muscle from there. It's the natural triangle. You can be big, lean, and natural. You cannot be big, lean, and natural. You can be lean and natural, big and natural, but you cannot be big and lean. Hope you guys can take the points that I've said in this video and see the actual benefits of bulking. Yes, you will gain fat, but you can lose fat just as easily.
A core truth of calories in versus calories out, meaning how many calories you ingest versus how many calories you burn, is the fundamental and most important formula in this business of fat loss and weight management in general.
Muscle takes time to build, but if you're dedicated enough and you have a goal in mind, then you're going to find success. So Eat a bit more, mainly nutritious foods. Obviously, I say about 80-20%, 80% clean foods, 20% junk, whoever cares. Again, food is not unhealthy if you're still on the right path to your goal. So take this in strides, get big, I'm bulking, and I'll see you guys soon when I'm 10 times bigger. Let's go. Woo!
Heavyweight!